Hello students, today I am going to deliver a lecture on the topic of entity relationship model. Entity relationship model is a high level designing or abstract designing of a database in which we create a ER diagram that is a pictorial representation of a database, and we can visualize the information like the entities, attributes and their relationships. Okay, and by the help of ER diagram we can easily construct our relational database. Okay, so there are the three basic components of a ER diagram. One is the entities, attributes and the relationship. Entities can be any non-living thing and living thing that is having some attributes, like a student is a living thing which is having some properties like the roll number, name, address. That is, these attributes are actually describing the entities. Okay, so in ER diagram we can represent an entity by the help of a rectangular box. As you can see here, the student, which is an entity, is represented by a rectangular box. Next is the attributes. Attributes are actually the properties of an entity. Okay, as you can see here, the roll number, name, date of birth, age, address and the mobile number, these all are the attributes that describe an entity, a student. Okay, there are three type of attributes: key attributes, composite, derived and the multi-valued attribute. Key attribute are those that can by the help of which we can identify every entity, okay, uniquely. So as you can see here, the roll number is a key attribute by which we can identify each entity uniquely. Okay, so in a ER diagram we can represent a key attribute by the help of an ellipse, and we mark a underline. Okay, as you can see here, roll number is an attribute. Okay, and it is represented by ellipse. Since it is a key attribute, therefore I have underlined the roll number. Okay, so next is the composite attribute that composed of many other attributes are the composite attribute. As you can see here, the address here is the composite attribute, since it is consist of so many different attributes. Therefore I have called it a composite attribute. Address consists of street, city, state and the country. Okay, next is the multi-valued attribute that is having a multiple possible values, is a multi-valued attribute. In ER diagram we can represent the multi-valued attribute by the help of a double ellipse. As you can see here, phone number is a multi-valued attribute because a student can have multiple mobile numbers. Okay, so that is why the phone number here is considered as a multi-valued attribute and it is represented by the help of a double ellipse. Next is the derived attribute. An attribute whose value is dependent on the value of another attribute is a derived attribute. As you can see here, the age is a derived attribute here because it is dependent on the date of birth of a student. Okay, so that is why the age here is a derived attribute and it is represented by the help of a dotted ellipse. So this is the ER diagram in which I have represented the entities and their attributes. As you can see here, student is an entity which is represented by a rectangular box, and the phone number here it is a multi-valued attribute represented by the double ellipse. Age is a derived attribute, therefore it is represented by a dotted ellipse, and address here is the composite attribute. So this is the ER diagram of entity in which entities and attributes are represented. Next is the relationship actually represent the relation of two different entities. Okay, as you can see here, student and course are the two different entities which are related which is having both are having some relation which is common between these two different entities is enrolled in. Okay, so here student take enrollment in a course. Okay, so the information of enrollment will be represented by the help of relationship. Okay, so student entity will have some attribute like the name, address, roll number, date of birth, and course will have own attributes like the course name, course id, course fee, and the enrolled in is a relationship is also will, and the relationship will also have some attributes Okay, like the student id, course id, and the enrollment id, and the type of enrollment. Okay, so as you can see here, in relational database corresponding to each entity there will be a table, or as you can see here the student corresponding to a student entity, a student table is present here. The student id, name and age are the attributes of the student, and in the course table the course id, course name, and the fee will be the attribute for the course. And in the enrolled in is a relationship, okay, that represent the enrollment of a student in a particular course. Therefore the enrollment in will have the information of a student and course both, okay, and will have some personal attributes which is related to a particular enrollment. Okay, so here student id 132 has taken admission in BE course, and the type of enrollment is part time. Okay, her degree of relationship, the degree of relationship actually represent how many entities are participating in a relationship. A unary relationship is that in which only one entity is participate in a relationship. As you can see here, the person married to person. Okay, so here only one type of entity is participating, therefore we can say here the degree of a relationship is unary. Next is the binary relationship. Here we are calling it a binary that because the two different entities are participating, therefore we can say this is a binary relationship. And in the case of n array relationship, the n different entities can participate in a relationship. Next is the cardinality. The cardinality represent how an entity set is participating in a relationship. Okay, so there are the four different possibilities of participation. One is the one-to-one relationship. Okay, as you can see here, the male and the male married to female. Okay, here one male can marry to only a single female, right, and one female can marry to a single male. Okay, so as we can say, the one male entity can make relationship only single female. Okay, so that is why this is the case of one-to-one relationship. Okay, one entity can one entity instance of an entity set can make relationship to only one single entity instance of another entity set. Okay, so to represent this one-to-one relationship we use arrows. Okay, the arrow represent the one. Okay, so here male is representing participating as one, and female is also participating as one. So here we can say the relationship is one to one. This is a case of many to one. Many to one means multiple entities of a one entity set can map to the single entity of another entity set. Okay, so as you can see here, the multiple student can take enrollment in a single course. So this is the case of many to one. And to represent this many to one in a ER diagram, we use the many side by the help of simple line and the one side by the help of arrow. So multiple students are taking enrollment in single course, therefore the student is participating as many and the course is participating as one. So one student is connected through a simple line and the course is connected by the help of a arrow. Okay, next is the many to many. Many to many case is that in which the multiple students can take a single course and a single student can take multiple course. Okay, so both are participating as many. Okay, to represent this case we will use the simple line from both sides. There are two different participation constant in a ER diagram. One is the total participation and another one is the partial participation. Total participation says when an entity participate totally in a relationship, then every entity of an entity set will have to participate in a relationship. And the partial participation says when an entity participates partially in a relationship, then there is no need to participate every entity of entity set in a relationship. Let's see what the total participation and what the partial participation. As you can see here, the student had the set of student entity set. Every student entity is participating in relationship. Okay, but in the case of course, you can see the course C4 is not participating in a relationship. So we can say student here is participating totally and the course is participating partially. Okay, so to represent the total participation we use the double arrow. Okay, so here since the student is participating totally, therefore I have represented by the help of double lines. Okay, and the course, since the course is participating partially, therefore I have joined the enrolled in and the course by the help of simple line. Okay, so total participation constant says whenever an entity participates totally, then every entity of that entity set will have to participate. Okay, and the partial participation constant says if an entity participates partially, then there is no need to participate every entity in a relationship. So next is the concept of generalization. Generalization is a bottom up approach, okay, which says whenever two different entities is having common attributes, then we can create a new superclass. Okay, so this is the bottom up approach. As you can see here, the faculty and student is having some attributes, okay, but both entities are having some common attributes like the name, age, address, phone number, uh, Aadhaar card number. Okay, so these are the common attributes. Like, okay, so what we do here, we will use the concept of generalization to create a general class. Okay, so general class will have the attributes which are common to all different entities. Okay, so if the, so here I have created a new class which is person, which is a super class, or we can say a general class, which is having attributes which are common in both faculty and student. So this is the concept of generalization. Okay, so here to represent generalization we use is a relationship. Okay, since the faculty is a type of person and student is also is a type of person, so this is the way to represent a generalization. Okay, next is the concept of specialization, which is a top down approach, which is a which is very much similar but opposite to the generalization. Okay, in this top down approach, what do? We create a subclasses from an entity class. As you can see here, employee, we have a database of employees, but some employees having some properties which are not present in some other employees. As you can see here, the tester are having some attributes which are not present in the developer, and developer is having some attributes which are not present in tester. That is why I have created subclasses. Okay, and subclasses will have the some individual attributes, and the employee will have the attributes which are common between the tester and the developer, like the employee id, employee age, salary, department. Okay, so this is the concept of specialization. Next is the concept of aggregation. The aggregation says whenever an entity cannot participate in a relationship directly, then we need to use aggregation to represent the relationship. Okay, as you can see here, a visitor visit visit for the inquiry of for a particular course of a particular center. Okay, so here the visitor is doing inquiry for a particular course of a particular center. Okay, and we need to store this information in a table. Okay, so here I have created an inquiry relationship between the visitor and the information for which the visitor is doing inquiry. Okay, so what we do, I will create a table of inquiry in which I will store the information of visitor detail, in which I will store the visitor ID and the detail for which the visitor is making an inquiry. Okay, but so the visitor is not doing inquiry for a particular center and a particular course. Okay, he is inquiry for a particular course for a particular center. Okay, so that is why here center and course both cannot participate directly in the relationship inquiry, right? So that is why I have we need to create another relationship so that the relationship can directly participate in another relationship. So here what I have done here I have created relationship offer by the help of center and course, and the offer will have the information of center and course both. Okay, now the offer ID can directly participate in the inquiry. Okay, so you can see by the help of this slide here center and course, center table will have the information of center and the course will have the information of course detail. So here I have created another table offer, which is the relationship between the center and course. Therefore the offer table will have the information of center and the course both, and some related information to the offer. Okay, so here for the center SIRT, course CSE, I have offering the 30,000 fees. Okay, so this is one offer ID. Okay, so here in this inquiry I have stored the information of offer ID and the visitor ID. Okay, both in an inquiry table. So this is how, by the use of inquiry, by the help of aggregation, I have created a database. Okay, so this is all for this is all the concepts and the ways to represent the database in a ER diagram. Okay, thank you.